All right. Well, these two guys, we've talked a lot about how much they've played against each other. And because of that, you actually end up seeing some pretty fun mind games, which I know, Wardy, you could probably go on and on and on about.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these two, they play a different TVZ to anyone else. This series is not going to look like Reynor versus TY. Reynor, he hates playing mutas against Clem. He just knows Clem's really good against them. It feels like he gives Clem too many openings, and yet he wasn't afraid to use mutas in his previous series, right? So I really think that there's just so much that goes on between them. He knows what works well against Clem's style, and that is getting into the lurkers, that is playing that late game. The thing is, Clem also knows that's how Reynor likes to play, so I really wonder how he's been adapting his games to maybe take that on. And, you know, in the same kind of way, I feel like that means that a lot of what Clem won with yesterday against Cyril doesn't really work in the same way against Reynor. So it really makes for it's a different matchup to me. Like, it's Reynor versus Clem. It's not TVZ. Yeah. It's Reynor versus Clem. And the cool thing about Reynor versus Clem is it doesn't end before 5 minutes, Fear Dragon. It goes on for like 15 minutes plus every game. So it's a pretty nice matchup. The thing is, that's what gives Clem a fighting chance against players like Reynor and Cyril, because he's so good at using the little things to get so much mining denial and to take away so much of that Zerg eco. I mean, how long was that lib in the main for? That's half the mineral patch is just not mining, right? That's like 8 drones of damage for like a minute or so, maybe a bit less.
Yeah.
That's huge income deficit that Reynor's meant to have at that stage. And the thing is, most Terrans would like siege the lib once. Oh, get pushed back. I'm going to take it elsewhere, right? Or move away with it, or take a moment while I go do something else. But Clem keeps it for so long, and then he's still alive 2 minutes later to come back again. And that, to me, is what makes Clem so terrifying in this matchup, especially is going to be seeing these Marines going to catch the Queens. I mean, it's thinking, where are the Lings for your Dragon? I feel like they were meant to show up a minute or two ago. They get here with only 1 Queen going down, but that's all the Queen energy gone, so now you can't build new creep tumors. And there's that lib coming back once again.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about. Clem actually drew all the Zerglings up to the north side, I think, and maybe Reynor just had overcommitted a lot of them to the north side with that Marine drop, and ended up having not enough over on the south side. Now he's got the Banelings over there, and he's been able to push back that Liberator. Finally snipes it off, and it's just that 1, 2, 3 punch repeatedly that starts coming on in as he even tries to drop again over on the north side. But I mean, this is going to actually be one of the big hurdles now, though, is that Reynor has gotten all of his creep spread all the way to the center. Even on the bottom side, he's been able to get some of those creep tumors. And it becomes a lot more difficult for Clem to actually push on to creep here. He's just got that 1 drop that's heading into the top left-hand base. This is doing some nice damage, sniping off some of the spore crawlers, spine crawlers, and stuff that might have been building there. But he hasn't been able to break through yet.
Fear Dragon, can Clem like lose a Marine? Like, it's unfair. Like, seriously.
He's only lost 7 Marines.
I know.
7 Marines, a Liberator, and 3 Hellions. That's it.
I know, but like, how many? For the fact he's dropping in like 2 places and pushing the center, he should have lost more by now. Like, even if you just lose 1 or 2 more Marines, it's the fact that the drops are staying full, right? That's the amazing part, that he doesn't even lose 1 Marine on the top after being fully surrounded. He knew when to pick up. And that's, again, part of the magic of Clem, that he knows when to pick up without losing anything. He's never distracted to let Banes run into those drops. The thing is, the magic of Reynor is, despite how well Clem's playing like that, Reynor can keep up with it, right? He can keep sending units over. He's not trading terribly against those drops, even though Clem's losing very little. I do feel like these run-bys are getting hit by some tanks, though, and that's a little bit uncharacteristic of Reynor. Now some drones are going down, and Clem is once again in position to really shut down this run-by.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job shutting down the run-bys, which is something that Reynor is typically known for. But it feels like Reynor is finally, like you said, taking tiny bits of damage over here. He's going to be able to push back these Marines. But the thing is, like you said, he hasn't taken substantial damage. I feel like this is the first real committed push. We're seeing Siege Tanks actually involved in this attack. And he's getting in range of the middle line as well. So if he's able to snipe off these lurkers that are trying to buy a lot of space, and my god, are they? There's only 1 Marine actually left alive in that medevac. It looks like he's going to be able to deny quite a bit of mining over here, but he's not able to actually shut down the base or anything. This is going to be something that eventually Reynor should be able to clean up.
That was a little slow to go to 3-3. He's been on 2-2 for a while, right? And that's something that can generally be an advantage for the Terran. Not sure how big it is actually against lurker styles, where you're not actually looking to skirmish quite as much. It's still something to keep in mind. The problem is these lurkers will hold their spot. I also feel like this position of Clem is kind of unbreakable with lurkers, as that's a lot of units here, and the Bane drop actually does connect quite nicely. He just doesn't have a second Baneling.
He's even got the medevacs over there, so all the SCVs are going to get healed up there too. That's actually really unfortunate. But all right, nice defense there from Clem. Both players are maxed out at this point. Viper's getting into the mix, might be able to start throwing down blinding clouds on top of these siege tanks, or even just yanking them up to the high ground in range of the lurkers.
That's what it needs, right? Like these tanks, I mean, that tank's not dying yet, but you know, these tanks have just sat there forever, and he's been waiting for the Vipers to deal with it. Like, there was no way lurkers were going to run forward here and be in a good position to fight, right? Like, that just wasn't. But with the Vipers, it's a very different story, and I like it. Now Clem's maybe realizing this is time to go elsewhere, but hey, he's going to get a push into the middle to clean up a lot of creep. The lurkers are out of position still, and I kind of like it. There's a lot of units on this bottom side, and Clem's going to be like, well, guess I'm just going to lift and get out away from over here. Reynol's really playing a lot down the bottom side. You don't usually see that from the Zerg until later in the game, so I like him doing it early as he does dive in for these siege tanks here. But a big blinding cloud down as the lurkers get burrowed, but Clem is going to scan and fight. He's going to get a lot of these lurkers, Spear Dragon.
And it's like you said, Wardy, so much of the army there for Reynor is on that south side of the map, and it's not really going to be able to do a lot of counterattack damage outside of maybe hitting the golds because the minerals aren't mined out on the south side. So Reynor has to go all the way back through his main base, drag that army up to the north side, and at least some of it, because he just really doesn't have enough over on the north side right now. He's hatchery is about to go down.
There's no lurkers left. He lost all the lurkers in the center, so Clem realized he gets the chance, and now he's got the drop in the bottom left too. He's getting quite a few drones here, and yeah, it might feel like that's just like, okay, Reynolds, you still 95 workers, right? You still got great economy. Yeah, sure, but that's still drones he has to rebuild perhaps. There's still less mining than he would have had otherwise. Reynolds got a bank, but look at how many bases Clem is hitting. A new Liberator shows up and denies lava over here as well. That's a nice little bonus. And he denied this topside hatchery, so really Reynolds on 5 bases while Clem's on 5 bases.
Yeah, that was a really nice bit of aggression there so far from Clem. Looks like he's going to lose all the Marines finally. He's actually starting to feel a little multitask there for a moment. Loses the medevac and the Marines, but he's still continuing to do additional harassment. Like you said, he's just continuing to deny mining and making this a lot harder for Reynor.
Like I say, it's just crazy, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people put that lib there and they're doing other things. So like, cool. You know, that lib's doing its job. I'm just going to let it stay there until he goes to clean it out. But Clem's already moving it to get a bit more done. He actually finds a chance to maybe fight there. It doesn't quite work out. Ling Z will get through to the gold. I mean, but this is a gold-based Spear Dragon, which has, what, like 1,300, 400 minerals left on it? Yeah, that's something, but he's got the other bases up now. The gold's really done its job of buying time and giving him a boost to get to this stage of the game anyway.
Yeah, the biggest advantage that Reynor has going for him is, again, like that big bank and just how many bases he has been mining from. But if you look at cost efficiency, it's actually like 5,000, 6,000 more resources lost there for Reynor. It is all just about the fact that he's saying, I just have more. The problem is, as this game goes on, it's going to become harder to make this work because, yeah, there's continuous harassment. You're continuously taking cost-inefficient trades, and eventually you're going to run out of bases to mine, or you're going to have to start taking Clem's bases. That is, I feel like, what Clem is almost banking on at this point.
Well, so yeah, I'm behind Clem in this first game. He's just been on that top side all this time, denying that base. I do like this Nidus lurker play, though. Yeah. That's good. This lib's just a bit out of position, unfortunately. I like that Reynolds finally doing something to make Clem look back at home properly and for a longer period of time than he was previously.
Oh man, even leaving the siege tanks back at home, a little Clem is going to be prepared there. That blinding cloud doing everything for that fight. Even parasitic bomb on the medevac softens up quite a few of those units. It looks like this location is very certainly going to get heavily dislodged here. And Clem's going to have to pick up, escape down to the low ground. But the hatchery was already taken out on that side. Reynor still using a few extra units here to clean up. But if you can actually snag these ghosts, that would be a big victory. Snags one of the medevacs.
And that cost Clem big time. For the first time in a long time, I'm not so comfortable about what Clem has. Finally, Clem makes a mistake, rallies a Liberator into Hydras. And suddenly, Reynor does swing the momentum into his favor a little bit. Good play by Reynor, really well set up to give him this opportunity. And suddenly, he's making look as though he's been controlling this game this entire time as he shows up on top of this gold base. And I'm actually suddenly just scared for Clem. Wow. Oh
my God, half of the Marines going down to just those 3 or 4 lurkers. And at the same time, we see that Reynor is already rotating to the north side. Where there are 2 siege tanks, but those Zerglings are not going to care as much about the siege tank. Planetary Forge is going to be a little bit too much for him to bust, so he is going to back off after just picking those 2 tanks off. But yeah, it is just now about Reynor. He's not taking as cost-efficient of trades as before. Like, they've been pretty even. It's now down to just 4,000 resources more lost there for Reynor. And he's again still got the bigger bank, and now he's using the Nidus Worms, continuing to harass. Finally, Reynor is on the offensive.
Yeah, this is what Reynor needed all this time, right? This is why I get scared for Clem for sure. Because the moment Reynor gets offensive, you know, I talked about him killing only 2 SCVs, now he's killed 15, right? And that's a pretty big jump from having not found anything in the first 15 minutes to finding 13 more, you know, 3 minutes later. If he can keep this up, keep this momentum going, this is great from. There's a fight in the middle of the map, a big chase as these lurkers come through. The captain, the ghost, and again, Clem seems like he was found out of position, and Reynor just jumped on the opportunity. And I just don't think Clem's ever recovered from that one bad fight on the left-hand side. And Reynor has just gone like, you know, turbo mode ever since then. He's everywhere on the map, Fear Dragon, more SCVs going down, lurkers burrowing up. And this is why Reynor is just so good, because even when he's not having the best of games, he's always still in it.
It's not a single war, it's a lot of different battles going on. And even though it looks like this angle over here, Clem is going to be able to hold on, he is losing a lot everywhere else. The main base looks like it did finally get mostly cleaned up, but guess what? There's more Nidus Worms coming on out. Reynor still has a bit of a bank. Even if one Nidus Worm goes down, another should follow in its place. There's actually a lot of Banelings loaded up in this one as well. He's not going to actually end up using it because he's busy microing his links, sniping off more Marines, sniping off more Marauders, sniping off some of the final ghosts on the map.
And you know what I think the really cool adjustment is from Reynor on this map to what we see a lot of Zergs doing? Is that he didn't shy away from taking the bottom of the map early. You know, usually they don't play the bottom of the map until like the top side is really unmineable. He took that bottom left base really early on, and I think that's just something Clem never really took into consideration. This fight here has the lurkers involved, but I still only tell you what, you know, it's still a lot of army supply for Clem versus what Reynor has. So the right fight could maybe still go okay for Clem. Oh, those Marines are going to intercept the Vipers on the bottom center of the map. They had to turn back around. Good awareness from Reynor, doesn't lose one. And it does mean that these lurkers are eventually going to go down here. Problem is, Clem is once again losing a lot of SCVs, and I mean, we've kind of talked about that before, that it is still Reynor making this scrappy enough, and Reynor has the bank to spend. If he had the lava, actually, he is lava starved, so that's kind of the problem of just not hitting your injects properly. I mean, that's just how crazy the game is for him.
It's insane that you could be larva starved on 7 hatcheries and a hive. Like, that's actually absurd. But it's just the ridiculous pace that this game has been. It's not a passive game. These players haven't been maxing out, sitting back and doing little pokes and prods anymore. They have been doing fights everywhere on the map this entire game for the past 8 to 10 minutes. And now we're finally going to see some of the links cleaned up over on the south side. The Orbital Command can land again. Marines trying to duck a little bit. Those Banelings, absolutely absurd from Clem. Gonna turn that fight around.
Oh my god, that's like a do or die moment, because if you miss a Baneling and it connects, it's just like you lose everything and you're just like, crap, I just lost the top side base. That was sick. Absolutely just destroys every one of those veins. No missed targets at all. And now he's on the bottom side and he's maybe denying a bit of eco. I don't think eco is Reynor's problem, but I mean, obviously you're losing hatcheries, you're losing potential lava, which kind of was his problem. I just think he's got like a round of lurkers too many for Clem to properly deal with. He targets a few down here, but he also doesn't quite get that hatch.
Yeah, he's going to have to back out over there. Remember that a lot of the supply before, that supply lead that Reynor has, it's definitely a big supply lead at this point, was in workers, but he's been losing, Clem has been losing a lot of his army now. He had to take off mission trades. Reynor claims victory after 24 minutes.